Here we go. Let's get ready. I'm Blockchain Crusader, crusading through these blockchains every single day, guys, and we're back today with the ultimate market crash. Bitcoin has lost the ultimate support. Is it all over? Are we gonna go crashing and burning down to zero? Are the altcoins fully cooked? We're gonna cover this and many more questions here in the live stream in the Crypto Citadel. We've been covering this all day. And man, it has been a wild day. So make sure you guys are smashing those likes, hitting that subscribe, and then always make sure you're following me on all the different social platforms, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, wherever you're seeing this. Make sure you're hitting that follow, X, and so many more. So guys, the market crashing right now. Bitcoin has lost critical support here. Obviously, we have a sea of red throughout all the altcoins. Good thing we have good old fart coin here, still up 8.7% today, resisting the drop from Bitcoin. But if we jump into the Bitcoin chart here, man, what a collapse it's been. Like, it was just, I wish I would have kept my short open. That's all I can say. I wish I would have kept my short open. So let's just get yesterday's daily range here. Right around over here. Let's get it. Boom. All right. Let's turn off these trading sessions. All right. So as you can see here, overall, Bitcoin today has just sent it straight down. We were all the way up here around. Hold on. I gotta reload this chart here real quick. I'm missing some key components here. I'm gonna do a quick little reload. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Now let me turn off this trading session. Here we go. So earlier today, as the stock market was opening, we had a big rise all the way up to the Monday high, almost front running our previous day high. And as we were doing that, quickly I jumped on over here into the Crypto Citadel and I dropped a signal for a Bitcoin short here saying fade the rally. It's time to short. Entry short right between 105.9 to 106, and our take profits were 105.89. Take profit was 104.700, and our last third take profit was 104.200, which was the previous day low. And let me tell you, within an hour, that was at 9:16 a.m. right before the stock market opened, and by 10:16, an hour later, all three TPs had hit. So that was a magnificent trade here in the Crypto Citadel today. And since then, it hasn't stopped, right? I thought it would just bounce off the previous day low, maybe have another rally to the upside. We slightly did that, and then we just kept pushing it back down. And guess what, guys? Now we are below this critical green support here. And as you guys know, this is no bueno. I've been warning you guys about this. So now we got to zoom out here to the daily. We're going to have a daily close here in the next two and a half hours or so, right? It's 5:20 at the time of this live stream right now. You're watching this. If you're watching in the future, it is June 5th, 5:20 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to be closing here the daily candle at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if we close this daily below this green zone, if we don't get a nice push back to the upside, back into this monthly range of May, Bitcoin is cooking, my friends. Bitcoin is cooking. We are losing this major green support. We are losing the value area low for the month of May. We are losing. So right now, I am not into a short. I know a lot of people's next question is going to be, all right, it's Crusader. So are we going to be jumping into a short right now? When do we start shorting? No, I'm not shorting just yet. Why? Because if you would have shorted from the morning like I did and would have left it open, right? If I could have had a crystal ball and would have left it open, in fact, magnificent, I have a great entry. But I didn't. I already closed my short earlier today at the previous day low. Now I have to wait for another entry. I can't just short here because tomorrow, Friday, we could have a little bounce back to the upside, retest some support here around the 102. Maybe we even jump back up to 103, right? And that is going to stop out my short. So I don't want to be jumping into a short right now and have a bounce tomorrow, then have the big rejection, boom, confirming the breakdown and then dropping. So right now it's all about entries, guys, and it's all about patience. If we missed it, we missed it. It's okay. I'll be waiting for this area down here around 96,000. look to see if this is the area for another support. If this is the big support area that we hope it is, I'll be getting into a long. I'll be jumping into a long, and we'll start recovering, and I'll take that trade. It's okay to miss trades, but right now, for me to jump into a short, I would have to wait for Bitcoin to retest this value area low of May to about 103. See where we start facing some resistance, if we even get back up that high, before entering into a short to ride it down to at least 97 to 96,000. Now, let's zoom out here. Let's assume we don't get the bounce. Let's assume we missed out on the short. This next level, if Bitcoin keeps dropping this way, right, which right now, it's dropping, baby. It's dropping like it's hot, right? Right now, our next support zone is the Q1 2025 point of control with this 382 fib of $97,000. Between this area here is our next support zone. If this area does not hold, we are dropping lower, but let's assume this area does hold. Let's assume this area holds here, right? This is the next support zone that we're looking for. Next area here of 97 to 96,000. If this area does not hold and we continue to drop, we will be rotating the full Q1 range. As you guys can see here, we rotated all the way to the upside, tried to break out of it throughout the month of May, got rejected, started falling back into the Q1 range, and now we are in the playbook of rotating this entire Q1 range potentially to the downside if we do not have strong support here around this $96,000 area. If we drop here, right, I am expecting to look for this next major support zone area. This next major support zone area is what I'm going to be looking for, which is between 90,000 to 87,000. Worst case is that if this area does not hold as support, this is the value area low for the Q1 range. This is a macro gold pocket. This is a quarterly average and an untapped monthly average. If all of these support confluence does not hold, we could see a wick. I could see Bitcoin wicking, doing the John Wick all the way down to the monthly point of control here, naked point of control of 84,682 before potentially having a strong push back up, building more confluence and more support here before potentially recovering. But those are the big areas right now. Bitcoin has officially, not officially, unofficially lost this support zone right now, right? We still have to wait for the daily closure. We still need to see how the week ends, see how the week plays out. Can we recover, or are we going to have a weak recovery and just boom, have a larger drop starting next week? We're entering the week here. We're on Thursday. We're entering Friday weekend. Not a lot of volume, not a lot of price action overall. And if we do see a rally throughout Sunday or Saturday throughout the weekend, do expect a big crash on Monday of next week, right? So we got to be very careful with all these things happening right now. I hope you guys are enjoying the stream. I hope you guys are getting ready to analyze a lot of data and take it all in, because things are happening right now. So make sure you guys are smashing those likes and hitting that subscribe. All right, let's continue on here. Let me make sure I'm not missing anybody in the chat. Let me make sure I'm not missing anybody in the chat here overall. Appreciate all of you guys smashing those likes. Appreciate all of you guys jumping into the chat here. But no good questions so far. Okay, we'll keep on rocking and rolling. Now, as Bitcoin has begun to drop here, we've covered the levels for Bitcoin. Good old Suey has also lost its support of $3.03. Now it is officially entering the April range as well. Our first macro target here to the downside is 262, which is the gold pocket for this major move from the downside to the upside. The gold pocket sitting around 262. If this gold pocket doesn't hold, if Bitcoin has a larger overall pullback, I mean, right now we're having a pretty steep pullback already for SUI, and Bitcoin is just starting to tease the big market pullback. So this is the problem with altcoins. Bitcoin just kind of gets a little slightly bearish, and the altcoins melt like butter. So if 262 does not hold, definitely look for 220 to potentially as low as $2 again. Worst case scenario is we make a whole nother low. If Bitcoin really drops down to like 84,000 and altcoins melt along with it, right? There's still some targets down here at 145, 136 for SUI. Now, I'm not saying we're going to go there down just yet. Don't freak out. No, that's all part of the plan right now, guys. It's all part of the plan. We're having a slight little pullback here. You know what I mean? Appreciate everybody smashing those likes. Make sure you guys are jumping into the chat. Drop your questions. We're going to be covering a lot of different altcoins here. Let's go take a look at good old Zebec. Zebec Network. Good old Zebec here. Oh, man. Lost its uptrend. Fell back out of its previous week range. And guess what? We're back here at the support that we were holding up before. We lost that as well. We lost the 0.0043. We're currently down at 0.0042 after a little push back up. Our next target's to the downside. To the downside for Zebec right now is 0.0036 to this gold pocket of 0.00232, which is another potential pullback of from where we're at. Another 13% to our first target, about 23.5% to our gold pocket before potentially getting worse and fully rotating. Right now, we are within the month or the range for the month of May for Zebec. We are within the month range, right? The longer we stay in here, the more likely we have a full rotation of this range, which let me tell you, my friends, it's not going to be bueno for anybody that was buying all the way up here at 0.007. Let me tell you, let me show you the type of pain that you're about to get into if you were buying up here, right? If you were buying up here, so far, you've already had a 42% retracement, which already sucks. If you put in $1,000, you've already lost over $400. Now, let's keep on getting steeper, right? If it drops to our first target here of 0.0036, that's a 48% drop. To our gold pocket, we're talking about 55%. If we rotate it further down to the weekly point of control down at 0.0028, 59. And if we rotate it to the monthly naked point of control all the way down at 0.0019, that's talking about 72% drop, over $700 lost if you bought $1,000 worth up here, right? And that's assuming that you don't panic sell. You technically haven't lost it. You're still just in the negative, which is why you do not chase FOMO. You do not chase FOMO. I hope you guys are learning a hard lesson here. Sometimes we have to learn the hard way. Trust me, it's happened to me in the past too. Nobody's perfect. Everybody has to start somewhere. Everybody has to learn hard lessons. And buying FOMO, chasing FOMO, thinking you're going to buy into something after running 300 to 500%, and it's going to continue skyrocketing to the moon because it has this world's greatest utility ever. It's all fugazi, guys. It's all fugazi. It doesn't work that way. So here it is. Zebec and its potential pullbacks can get a lot steeper, my friends. Can definitely get a lot steeper. Now let's go take a look at 𝗏 𝗏 is one that I'm very interested in dollar cost averaging here if we continue pulling back. So 𝗏 right now is losing its support here between 389 to 373. We're currently down at 353 right now. First target to the downside that we need to look forward here to find some support now is 340. 340 is the quarterly average. If this quarterly average does not hold, 𝗏 is heading down to about 320 to 284. We have a gold pocket down here at 284. We have a monthly untapped average at $304, and we have the value area high for the month of April up at $320. So this is all a big area of confluence for 𝗏 to find support. If that support is not found and we continue to dump, right? Because this is going to be highly dependent on what Bitcoin does. And will Bitcoin continue crashing to all the way down to 85,000? Or is it going to find some support, right? If it keeps dropping and it continues to pull the altcoins down with it, our target to the downside is $231, the monthly naked point of control for the month of April. So that right now, from where we're at currently, just from where we're at currently, down to this support zone of the gold pocket is a 20% pullback. Down to this monthly naked point of control of 232 is 34.42%. And if we measure it from the top, right, from the top of 495, 496 or whatever it was, down to this gold pocket, that is a 43% retracement overall and a 53% retracement if we drop down to 231. But overall, I am still very bullish on 𝗏. I do believe 𝗏 is one of the best performing AI projects out there. We still have some targets to the upside of 545, 617, once we can get above this resistance zone around 480 and break out of the Q1 range. Now, let's go take a look at the Bitcoin dominance, because the Bitcoin dominance never disappoints, right? Bitcoin dominance is doing nothing but climbing, baby. Nothing but climbing. Look at this steep uptrend of low, higher low, higher low, and it's just keeping going higher and higher. And the higher it goes, the more the altcoins are going to drop. Now, back over to Bitcoin, I do see Bitcoin having a little bit of a push back up here, having a little bit of a push back up, which over here on the 1 hour, we're trying to get back up to the $101,320. Let's go, right? $100,000 price point is a very psychological number. I do, like I said, this is why I didn't jump into a short, right? We're dropping off. I'm not just going to blindly short the market because there's panic and there's fear all over the place. And I do believe we're going to head lower into 97 to 96,000. I can't just blindly short. I need to wait for a good entry. So I was expecting a bounce. I'm not surprised. I do expect to bounce back potentially into this green support zone. The higher, the better, for I can get a better entry. And then I will be shorting it. Right, once we start getting that move to the upside. And like always, I'm going to be dropping the signal into the crypto citadel like I did this morning when that moment arrives. So if you're not in the crypto citadel, definitely do so and join. You can get 50% off your first month using the promo code Citadel. For your first month, you not only get, you're like, Crusader, I'm not a trader, bro. I'm not going to be using those trade signals. That's fine. We do tons of macro long-term analysis right here on the macro charts. Look at all the analysis that we're posting here. We have long, deep dives into very easily digestible information, resistances to claim, areas of key support. We covering Pepe, H-bar, right? Cake, all very simple breakdowns of what is happening on the macro side of things for altcoins, for people that are long-term holders, that are not day traders, that are looking for some areas to potentially dollar cost average at, some areas to potentially maybe take some profits as we start hitting some resistance, right? Look at all the analysis that we're dropping in here for all the long-term holders, plus the exclusive live streams, plus the exclusive trading indicator as well that I created. A lot of stuff you can access by being part of the Crypto Citadel and just being part of a good community that's all trying to work together and learn. So appreciate everybody coming in here. Appreciate all of you guys smashing those likes. Let's let me see. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything in the chat. Would you start investing now or wait till it drops further? I would definitely be waiting, right, for it to drop lower. I would be waiting for it to drop lower. We're in a very bearish momentum right now. I'm not going to be trying to buy Bitcoin at 101,000 or Ethereum, right? Ethereum's already dropped 6% today. Like we said before, the altcoins will melt very drastically, very fast as Bitcoin pulls back. So as I do expect Bitcoin to continue pulling back to around 96 to 97 at least before maybe visiting 90 to 84, therefore I would be waiting. I'm going to be waiting for 96 and lower to potentially start dollar cost averaging and buying some new positions in some altcoins, because the altcoins are going to melt drastically. So no, I would not be buying right now. I mean, if there is a recession, how it would affect alt season, not how the tweet would. Don't know what you're referring to, but Ella from the UK again, Crusader. Musk just tweeted there will be a recession in the second half of the year. How will this affect the incoming alt season? Delay it or cancel it? So a lot of people are expecting a recession. My buddy CVO Crypto CVO, he has the best breakdown of the 20-year cycle for the housing market that obviously always does a very similar thing where, goes parabolic, has a recession, has fears of a recession. We have a little bit of a pullback. Everybody's like recession. We have another 7 years of running to the upside before having a blow off top and pulling back and rinse and repeat. So right now we're in that kind of cycle where everyone's expecting a recession, but realistically, they're getting ready to print money. So, we already saw Trump talking about agreeing with Elizabeth Warren about getting rid of the debt ceiling. Guys. That is wild, right? This is instantaneously like crazy. So let me go actually look for it over here. Let's see here. The world right now. Bro, you seeing this? Hold up, I got a line. Bro, yo. Me and the boys, bro, we're all doing the same thing. Everybody's doing the same thing. But look, let's keep scrolling down here. Let's look for the tweet. the tweet right here. So right here, Donald J. Trump says, I'm very pleased to announce that after these years, I agree with Senator Elizabeth Warren on something, the debt limit. We should entirely scrap it to prevent an economic catastrophe. It is too devastating. If they get rid of the debt ceiling, or they're planning on getting this, passed or whatever it is, what does that mean? That means money printer goes burr, right? They're already talking about, they're trying to force Jerome Powell to lower interest rates. It's going to happen some point in time this year. And now he's talking about getting rid of the debt limit, right? So we got his big, beautiful bill coming, which is going to undo everything that the Doge did, right, on government spending, right, cutting back on government spending, and actually spend more, talking about getting rid of the debt ceiling. So that all shows you that the fears of a recession are going to be put to the side because they're going to print money. They're going to print money and inject capital into the markets and boost up the stock market. And by 2026, you're going to be hearing about, look how great the economy is. It's huge. It has recovered faster than better than ever, all because of what I've done, yada, 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 right, from the Cheeto Man. So even though there's all this looming fear of recession, there's a lot of bigger things happening in the background that people are not connecting the dots yet. And the big boom to the upside is still coming, which is why I agree with CVO in the 20-year housing cycle thing, where I do believe we are in the moment of, hey, recession, but then we have another 5 to 6 years of pumping to the upside because they're going to inject more capital into the market. They're going to print more money. So those are my thoughts. Those are my thoughts on that right now. Let me jump back into the chat here. Are alts doomed? Alts are definitely getting ready to feel some more pain, right? They're getting ready to feel some more pain. Bitcoin is having a nice little bounce here. We're back up at 101,596. You see, prime example why you don't just blindly short, guys. Perfect example why you don't blindly short. You must be patient and wait for the entries, because if you are not, you will pay dearly. And this is a prime example, right? You're down here. You're like, oh, man, we lost the support. Short it. Boom. Instant green candle to the upside. Got stopped out. Or you're negative in the money, right? And then you're at the dollar cost average into a losing trade, trying to hope it doesn't liquidate you or hit your stop loss. So it's just not good risk management to do this, to blindly short. So this push back up, let's get it. Push it back up. But yes, I do expect overall Bitcoin to push up, right? Do a little push up here, boom, and then potentially come right back down starting tomorrow or, next week. And that being said, the altcoins are going to feel pain. The altcoins are going to get bloody, guys. They're going to get bloody. There's going to be some pain in the market, right? And that's the prime time to be looking to get into some positions. The best times to get into positions, especially in altcoins, is when you're seeing pain, when you're seeing red in the markets, when there's massive fear, when everyone is freaking out that the top is in and that we're just going to crash forever and nobody sees a bottom. That is the time to say, this seems a little interesting. Let me start taking a closer look to a few different assets and potentially start taking a little bit of a position. And if I have the dollar cost average a little bit longer, I will. But this is the area to look, right? Not when the time to buy wasn't when a month ago in May and April, things were up hundreds of percent, right? When things were up hundreds of percent, everybody was excited. Everybody was like, I'm buying right now. We're blasting off. It's never coming back. Bitcoin's never gonna see 90K again. Yada, 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 yada. And everybody was FOMOing in. People love to buy the green. They hate to buy the red. And it should be the opposite. You should love buying the red and hate buying the green. Because if you're chasing FOMO, if you're chasing something that's already pumped hundreds of percent, you are the exit liquidity. You are buying the top. And somebody that rode that asset up 200, 300, 400%, they are the ones that are going to be dumping on you. They are the ones that are going to be dumping on you. And there's no one to blame but yourself. Can we look at the XRP chart thinking of shorting now before it's too late? Let's go take a big XRP chart. I love the topic about shorting XRP. Shorting XRP is my favorite. Let's get it here. So XRP right now, right, overall, we got rejected off the May range. We've come back down into this green support here. We're currently sitting at $2.10. We still are we're still front running that target of $2.05. Let me tell you, we front run it by less than a penny, literally less than a penny. But overall, as Bitcoin, I believe, will continue to pull back, XRP will pull back as well. If this area of 197, right, if we start closing below this area here, once we start getting below 205 and we start coming towards this April value area low around 194, we start closing daily candles down here, XRP could be setting up to have a huge pullback, right? The last time we've been holding this major support zone for XRP since December, right? Since December, when it pumped all the way up from like pennies to over $2, we've been holding here since December 1st. We've been holding this green support zone. We've had a few wicks, and the only time we had any daily closes was back on the bottom area of April, right? When Bitcoin dropped to 76,000 and we bottomed out, it came all the way down to about 161, and it had a few daily candles down here, and then it's quickly recovered. Now, we took out our target here of 171. I put it here. I left it here just so as a visual representation, but this is actually not the main target. Once we start losing this area and we start dropping down again, the next targets are 146 to about 112 for XRP, which overall, from where it's at right now, down to the 146 is a 30% pullback, down to 112 is a 45% pullback. Am I guaranteeing this? Absolutely not, right? There's no guarantee we will go down there. But once we start getting these daily closes like we did here back in April, below this green support of $2, right? We start dropping below $2, prepare yourselves. Because look, the only other time that we were in this area has never gotten back tested. This was during the month of November. Look how low the volume nodes are here. Look how big these volume nodes are, right? These are volume profiles, big volume nodes. Look at this. Literally tiny, because it was just straight parabolic momentum through November, and we never actually built any support. We never came back and retested anything. We just stayed above $2. So if we lose $2 and we start falling back down over here to 171, I do expect this to drop lower to the 146 to potentially 112 before finding some support and bouncing back up, which is going to be catastrophic for the XRP holders. Let me tell you. That's just what the data says. There's no guarantee we will see those levels. Maybe XRP holds the line, right? Really holds that $2 mark and holds it down. But if it doesn't, if XRP starts to slip, buckle up, boys, because we're dumping. Thanks for the answer. I'm shorting. Oh, be careful. Bitcoin can still have a decent little bounce back to the upside here around the 104 to 105 before dumping back down. Be careful. That's why we can't just blindly short. I will be updating the Crypto Citadel, though, when I see the opportunity. I will be updating the Crypto Citadel for sure. So if you're not in there, make sure you're in there. It's only you can get 50% off your first month. It's only $3.30 a day to be in there. So you're getting daily trade setups, you're getting signals, you're getting long-term macro analysis for all your long-term holders. I know you love XRP. You know it. I love me some XRP, baby, especially when it's on a fire sale. Short that baby to the zero, to the ground. Let's jump back over here, see what other altcoins can we cover here today. Let's go take a look at Ethereum. Ethereum is always a good one, right? Ethereum as well. We came up, we rotated the month of May back to the upside. We've hit all of our targets for the month of May so far on the way up. Let me get rid of some of these targets here because now they are none and void. See ya later, alligator. Right? We hit all of our targets to the upside. Just going to leave the monthly NPOC there. And we have come back down to the value area low of the month of May. Right? Coming back down to the month of May. Goody. We're finding support here. Still, right? We're still finding support. We came down to the daily NPOC of $2,404, sorry. And we found some support here along with Bitcoin bouncing back up. If this area continues to hold, we're good. But if Bitcoin begins to continue to slip here, which I expect it to do, right, then we will be looking at 23 to 2200, potentially driving it all the way back down to this yearly pivot at least around 1978. 1978, right? We see that we have very little, once again, very parabolic move to the upside on May 8th. Massive parabolic move to the upside. Absolutely zero volume or retest of these areas. So I do expect Ethereum overall to hold pretty well up against the Bitcoin drop because of the Ethereum versus Bitcoin chart, right, is having a reversal. So I do expect it to have a pretty decent drop, resistance to Bitcoin's drop, but nonetheless it will drop, right? Maybe 18% worst case scenario. Maybe it finds support around 2200, only about a 6% drop. But overall, we have to see here. Hopefully Ethereum continues to hold. If not, see you later, alligator. It's dropping like it's hot as well. So we got to be very, very careful here. Let me make sure I'm not missing anybody in the chat. Make sure I'm not missing anybody in the chat. Karen, what's going on? Hopefully this was just the market makers taking all the liquidity that was around 100 to 103. Is eliminating the debt ceiling Trump's way of adding liquidity to the market since Powell won't help? There's more to that. So first of all, two great questions, or one's a great statement and a great question. Yes, it could be a liquidity grab for the market, right? If we can reclaim that 101,800 and hold. But if we can't reclaim it and if we can't hold it, which it doesn't seem like we're holding right now, then it's not going to be a liquidity grab. It's going to be a full-on dump, right? We're going to lose the support. If we can reclaim it before the daily close today, maybe it's just a liquidity grab, right? And we SFP the area and we push back up. But if we don't, which doesn't look like we will, it could be just the beginning of the dump. Now, to the question about Trump and removing the debt ceiling, there are some bigger dots to connect with Trump wanting to get rid of the debt ceiling that I might not be able to talk about on here. It has to do with the conflicts around the world and the preparation for those conflicts to potentially escalate, right? And to be able to get prepared, you're going to have a way larger budget than what we initially have, and we're gonna have to do a lot more spending. And they know this, and I know people that are in places that are getting information directly from other places that are not in the crypto world, right? That there are more boots on the ground, as we can say. And the preparations are definitely starting, and they are starting aggressively. So that being said, that is where I think the bigger leap is that most people are not paying attention to, that this is a long game for the next 3 to 5 years to potentially get ready for a larger moment in time. Let's call it that. So I appreciate everybody smashing those likes, hitting that subscribe. Let's keep on rocking and rolling here. Whoa. What about Doge? Good old Doge. Let's go take a look at Doge. Doge. All right, so quick and easy here for Doge. All right. Doge fell out of the May range. We fell out of the May range. We came back down. We hit our gold pocket. We are currently dropping through the gold pocket, and we're going towards, if we continue dropping here, towards the value area low of the month of April, which is around 15 cents. If that area doesn't hold, then the October point of control around 13 cents, which was the low for April time frame, is our next main target to the downside for Doge, right? If it goes any lower than that, things can get very bad for Doge for sure. So let's hope it doesn't. But as of right now, Doge has had a very significant drop to the downside. Had a bit of a double top here back on May 11th. Got rejected off 25 cents. May 23rd, we got rejected off 25 cents again. Since then, we've pulled back 32%, dropping down to the value area low of April, 38%, and dropping down to the October point of control. It's about 44, basically 45% pullback. And if that doesn't hold, we're probably going to be creating a new lower low for Doge at that point in time, which is not fantastico, mi amigos. Now we do have targets to the upside for Doge if Doge obviously recovers along with Bitcoin and the altcoins, and we start having another leg up in the altcoin season. Yada yada yada. Getting above 25 cents is critical. Targets to the upside are between 32 to 35 cents, with macro gold pocket around 36 cents, and then if that area is flipped somehow, we could potentially maybe run it up for 52 cents. Bitcoin here trying to. If we can reclaim 101,868 before the day ends here in the next hour, hour and 12 minutes or hour and 8 minutes, maybe we got some hope. Short it all. Altcoins are all overpriced. Sage, yeah, 100% agree, man. Don't buy anything. Yeah, definitely not buying anything right now. No, it is time to get in. Buy XRP, ETH, and Sol. Fanky, I think is your name. I will not be buying anything right now. I will be waiting for Bitcoin to either find support here and bounce back up, or show us that, hey, we're getting a full-on rejection. We're dropping down to the 97 to 96,000. And if that area doesn't hold, we could potentially drop down to about $90 to $84,000. Those are the areas to the downside that I'm looking for Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin today alone just dropped 3%, and altcoins are already, some of them already down 10+%, right? If Bitcoin drops to 96, what do you think that's going to do to your altcoins? If Bitcoin drops down to 88, what do you think that's going to do to your altcoins? You better have a lot of cash in hand and be ready to dollar cost average heavily on the way down if you're planning on buying right now. I don't plan on buying right now. I'd rather wait for it to find some bigger support between 96 to 88 to potentially start dollar cost averaging at that point in time on the altcoins, because I know the altcoins are going to melt like butter compared to Bitcoin if we just have that slight pullback for Bitcoin overall. So definitely not buying anything right now. Definitely trying to be patient, because patience pays, because it's all about the entries, guys. It's all about the entries. So if you guys are not smashing those likes, hitting that subscribe, I don't know what you guys are doing, but I hope you guys can fix that. And if you guys are not in the Crypto Citadel, catching my daily signals, my daily updates, and my macro analysis for all you long-term holders, you guys are missing out, man. You guys are missing out. Respect, appreciate everybody jumping in here. Let's make sure I'm not missing chat from anywhere else. Guys, if not, I think that's gonna be it for me today. I appreciate all of you guys jumping in here and hanging out with me. The market could be pulling back a lot more. Prepare yourselves if you are in your altcoins. I'm not telling you to panic sell, but I am telling you to prepare yourself to potentially have to dollar cost average on the way down, because if Bitcoin officially loses this $101,000 area, the shorts are going to be stacked on Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is going to be looking for that 96 at least 96 before looking for 88,000. So guys, until next time, I'm Blockchain Crusader, crusading through these blockchains every single day. Make sure you guys are joining the Crypto Citadel. Some channels I follow recently got reinstated. You should try again. I'll try, man, but I don't think my TikTok ban is going away. I appreciate everybody. See you guys in the Crypto Citadel. Until next time, see ya.